We're back from our trip back east, so we have some time to look at some of these board meetings again. And we're back on the topic of Double Dipping Dave, Mr. Dave Ox here, who's going to tell us that the budget forecasts are not meeting expectations. And I've discussed this with some of my pals that are interested in this, and we always wonder, why would any prudent financial manager make estimates that exceed the present numbers? Prudent management would make a budget on the negative side of expectations in order to make sure they don't come up short. But TriMet management projects its budgets on the positive side. They expect growth at certain percentages. And here you'll see Double Dip and Dave talk about them not meeting their expectations. Their expectations were higher than they came in. Now, we've discussed this, and the only reason we can come up with why they would set their projections higher than normal would be in order to say, we don't have enough money and we have to attack our union employees, for example. I mean, if they say our projected budget assumes a 7% growth rate in revenue, when any prudent management would not set a budget with any growth. You'd set your budget at last year's growth, 0. We expect the same amount of revenue as we got last year. But these TriMet executives are setting their budgets higher. So they don't make those higher figures. They turn around and say, oh, we don't have enough money. It's the union's fault. We need to cut benefit. This is our theory anyway, is that they set these budgets higher than any prudent manager. I mean, if I run businesses, I never set my budgets higher than what I made last year. I never set it up like that. So if I make more money than I did last year, I've exceeded my expectations. But here we have these TriMet crony executives setting these expectations higher. They're spending more money than they can reasonably expect to take in. Now, why would they do that? There's only one explanation, really. So they can say they're not on budget, and the only reason they would do that is to attack the union members, because that's been the TriMet way for the last 5 years. How can we attack our union members? And this is the only thing I can come up with as to why they would set their expectations higher than what they already know to be existing. Anyway, listen to Double Dipping Dave.
Budget is always based on applying growth rate assumptions to our estimate for FY14. So this third quarter results are kind of our last look at actual results before we finalize the FY15 budget. So they take on a little extra significance in that regard. So I just want to hit a couple of the major revenue categories and expense categories, explain where we are in FY14 relative to the assumption that we used in creating the FY15 budget. First, on passenger revenue, year-to-date passenger revenue is up 3%, and in the third quarter it was up 2.5%. However, to hit our FY14 estimate that we used in creating the FY15 budget, we actually would need to be up 5.2% in the fourth quarter to hit that estimate. If we only hit 2.5% growth, would be about $800,000 short of our estimate. So this is one revenue category that we'll probably need to propose a minor change to as we bring to, and we'll discuss with you at your next May briefing. Payroll tax, third quarter results look good. Third quarter payroll tax revenues, and here I'm talking about the total revenue growth, payroll tax revenue growth, so it has both the rate increase, inflation, and employment growth in this, but grew 7.8% for the third quarter. Year-to-date, we're up 6.7%. We would need a 7.7% growth in the fourth quarter to hit our revenue estimate. So we're in line. If we only hit the 6.7% year-to-date growth number, would be about $630,000 short of our estimate. And just to remind you, the FY15 budget assumes a total growth of 6.3%.